Hey friends, it's Angela from Cake Angel. Welcome back to my channel. So I've had a lot of requests for this recipe and I thought it was about time I should share it with you. So here it is. It's my new vegan gluten-free cupcake recipe. Let's dive in and take a look at the method. Okay, so let's go through our ingredients that we're using today. I have 65 grams of plant-based butter, 85 grams of applesauce, 75 grams of plant-based milk, 120 grams of white sugar, 10 ml or 2 teaspoons of vanilla bean paste, and here I have my dry ingredients, which consists of 7.5 grams of baking powder, 2 grams of salt, and 160 grams of gluten-free flour. Okay, so we're going to combine everything now, and the first thing I'm going to do with my hand mixer is actually start to just combine and cream my butter with my sugar. And when you do this, you want to make sure that you're getting down into the bottom of the bowl. You can use a stand mixer for this as well, but it is a relatively small amount of ingredients, so I find it's just as easy to use my hand mixer as well. And of course you could do this by hand with a spatula as well, whatever you have with you. Make sure when you do this that you are going around the sides to make sure everything is combined. Next you want to add your applesauce, which is going to keep that cupcake nice and moist. And then we're adding our vanilla bean paste as well. And you could obviously swap this out with any flavouring that you prefer. Just make sure you use the same quantity, which is 10 ml or 2 teaspoons, whichever way you prefer to measure out your flavouring. Once that's combined, we're going to start adding our dry ingredients. So give it a bit of a mix together first to combine those 3 elements. And then I'm going to do it in stages. So this is half of my dry ingredients to start with, giving that a good stir in. Then we're going to add in some of our milk because it will tend to dry out very quickly otherwise. Now we're going to add the rest of our dry ingredients, and again, whenever you're stirring this in, make sure everything is nice and combined. You're getting the bottom of the bowl and the sides as well. And then we're going to add the rest of our milk. And then just give it another stir, again making sure everything is fully combined. We want to make sure there's no lumps of butter or flour at the bottom of our bowl. Now that that's done, I'm going to give it one last stir with my spatula so you can see the consistency of our batter. It is fairly thick still. And to measure it now into our cupcake cases, I'm going to use my ice cream scoop. And I'll pop a link in the description for this. This is a great tool when you're measuring out cupcakes because you'll make sure that they all come out a similar size without having to weigh them all as well. And before we add those last few in, just make sure that when you start this recipe, you do preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, 180 degrees Celsius or gas mark 4. And I am using my fan assist setting for this. Okay, so our cupcakes are done. They've risen fairly evenly and they're nice and firm as well. You can see that 2 of them have had a slight issue where I think there was an air bubble in the mix which we didn't tap out when we put everything in the pan. But aside from that, they look great and they're ready to decorate. So to decorate the cupcakes, I'm going to be using my vegan vanilla buttercream, and I'm using a 1M tip for this in one of my tipless bags. Now I will share the links in the description of how to fill a bag, how to make this buttercream, and also how to make the rainbow transfers that you see on the right as well. And essentially when you're piping a swirl with a 1M tip, you want to start from the outside, keep your pressure nice and even, and just spiral in until you get to the middle and raise that tip as you get to the middle as well. And there you go. There are 3 cupcakes done in no time at all. Next, we're going to add some sprinkles to the cupcakes, and an easy way that I like to do this to ensure that they don't end up all over the counter is to pop each cupcake on a plate as I'm adding the sprinkles, and I'm using my favorite round sprinkles for this. You just want to take a handful and drizzle them on top like so. Let's go ahead and do that for the other 2 as well. And of course you would use this for any type of sprinkles, but you do want to do it almost as soon as you've piped your buttercream so that it doesn't crust over. Otherwise your sprinkles won't stick to it naturally and you'd have to kind of wedge them in a little bit with some tweezers. So those 3 are done. I'm just going to move that plate out of the way. Next, we're going to go ahead and decorate them with the rainbow transfers that you can see on the right hand side. And I'll pop the link here for the video that shows you how I made these transfers. Essentially, they're made from royal icing, and I let them dry on the parchment paper, and then you can just peel them off really carefully and add them to your baked goods. And you just want to press them really carefully into the buttercream. It's going to hold it nicely in place, and I think they finish these cupcakes off really nicely as well. Just gives it that extra pop of colour and a little bit of a texture change as well, because you'll have the nice crunch from the royal icing against that soft silky buttercream and the light and fluffy texture of our vegan gluten-free cupcake as well. And I think these look great. Really nice, simple idea for a party or any celebration, and they really look great with those extra sprinkles. Okay, so let's have a taste of this and see what it's turned out like. Now, as this is a vegan gluten-free recipe, I made adjustments because quite often gluten-free recipes can be quite gummy and they don't have that same nice consistency that we would expect with a regular cupcake. So let's have a look. I'm going to break it up first for you. Let's break a piece off here. You can see there's a nice crumb to that. Let's have a taste. It's really good. You wouldn't know that this was a vegan gluten-free recipe, in my opinion. Now, obviously, with all the ingredients that I've used, this is still suitable even if you're not vegan or gluten-free. But if you are thinking of making this for customers, just make sure, if you aren't an allergen-friendly kitchen normally, that you do check with them what their allergies are and make sure that it's actually safe for you to bake this for them. But thanks again for watching. I hope you did find it really useful and learned something about gluten-free baking. I'm going to go grab a cup of tea and eat the rest of this cupcake. Have a nice day and thanks for watching. Bye.